Joining us now from Barra Resources is Sean Gregory. Sean, lovely to have you here.
Hello.
So, first interview with proactive investors. That means the first question is, tell us about Barra.
Barra Resources has been listed on the ASX since the year 2000. And initially the focus was on gold. The assets were originally spun out of Barminco, Australia's largest underground mining contractor. And those assets have been in and out of production over the years. More recently, with the excitement in the electric vehicle space, we've been able to reinvigorate our Mount Thirsty project, and we're just about to, or we have now, commenced our pre-feasibility study.
That's very exciting news, but before we drill into that, let's talk a little bit in general about your portfolio of projects and emphasise this dual commodity focus of yours.
So the dual commodity focus, on one side we've got our historical gold assets, dating right back to 1885, really solid gold assets that deserve some decent expenditure on exploration to uncover their potential. On the other side, we've got the Mount Thirsty project, which is in the cobalt nickel space and heavily exposed to the electric vehicle segment. Many investors, if they were to list their top commodities, you'd find cobalt, nickel and gold would score very highly on that list. So we're very fortunate to have that exposure. And we also think that that actually gives us the opportunity to ensure there's a consistent news flow right through the year from both of those fronts.
Well, and indeed there has been a lot of news flow recently, especially out of Mount Thirsty. Great name. Tell us about the status here and the developments to come.
Look, Mount Thirsty is a bona fide cobalt nickel project. It's a real, genuine cobalt project with some nickel credits. Many other mines around the world are actually nickel projects with cobalt credits. So Mount Thirsty is very, very heavily exposed to the uplift that we're presently seeing in the cobalt prices, which is driven by the fundamental supply and demand factors, which we don't see changing. So on the back of that, we commissioned a scoping study in 2017 that delivered some outstanding results and identified a low capital flow sheet where we can liberate the cobalt at relatively low capital cost. Based on those results, we've now kicked off our pre-feasibility study and we've selected some top tier engineering consultants, and that work is just kicking off as we speak.
That's always a very exciting time going into feasibility. Can we pivot now to your gold asset, your main one, Burbanks, another one generating a lot of news flow for you guys?
Yes, it is. And look, Burbanks has been around, initially mined in 1885, and over that period there's been 420,000 ounces of gold come out of that mine. Gold mining is the staple of the Western Australian mining industry, and a lot of companies have had a lot of success reinvigorating these historical gold mines in recent times. We've already got 95,000 ounces in the ground, and our exploration team has identified an exploration target of 223 to 564,000 ounces. So we're setting about realising that potential through ongoing drilling campaigns throughout the year. And we see that relatively inexpensive exploration will add value to the project, grow the resources, and ensure there's a steady flow of news throughout the year. Steady
flow of news and hopefully a steady flow of cash.
Yes, so look, Barra is well funded. As at the end of the March quarter, we had a cash balance of $2.3 million, which is sufficient to fund our share of the pre-feasibility study. I should note that it's a 50-50 joint venture with another ASX company, Conoco, so we only have to fund half of that study. And between that and the gold drilling, we are fully funded for our immediate plans.
Investors love to hear that. And you did mention to the market earlier that you are potentially looking at strategic partners, bringing some on in H2 of this year.
For the Mount Thirsty project in particular, and when we look at the cobalt market dynamics, we see that there are going to be numerous automakers, battery makers and various people up and down the value chain looking to put their foot on high-grade cobalt resources. Mount Thirsty presents that opportunity, and we think in particular, and a lot of the feedback we get is once we get it to that level of pre-feasibility study and we've ticked those boxes and we've completed that study to the standard that those top companies require, we feel that that will be an appropriate time to welcome on board a strategic partner. And we'll progress those discussions over the second half of the year, and towards the end of pre-feasibility study, we'll be looking at who is the best partner to bring on board.
So these are things you've touched on already, but can we please get a recap, some general timelines on the next key news flows that we need to keep tuned for?
On the gold side of things, regular drilling results coming out into the market. Every quarter we should have some drilling assays coming through from the various prospects within Burbanks. On the pre-feasibility study, look, typically these things take about 6 months to complete, and we'll progress through those studies, keeping in mind, of course, the pre-feasibility study is all about identifying value and is quite exploratory in its nature. So as we find opportunities to pursue, we'll chase them right down and make sure we capture the full value of the project for our shareholders.
Lots going on at Barra. Sean, thanks for coming in and telling us all about it. We hope to get you back again soon.
My pleasure.